Something's definitely shifting in Marin's single-family home market. But depending on who you ask, it's either a seasonal blip or the start of a slow unravel. The truth? The numbers are quietly telling a very different story. So before you assume it's business as usual, let's look at what's actually happening. So let's get to it. I'm Karrie Hill, lawyer turned realtor, Marin local for 30 years. My information's in the link below if you want a free consult or my monthly newsletter with exactly which homes closed in Marin and the math all done. Info you won't find anywhere else. All right, let's get into September's statistics. Quick macroeconomic recap. Like I mentioned last week, here's some of the bigger picture stuff shaping what we're seeing here locally. Pending home sales for existing homes, whole US we're talking here, are actually up 3.8% from last year, which sounds exciting until you realize they're still hanging out near historic lows. The housing market, nationally, is basically that friend who says they're on their way but hasn't left the house yet. Consumer confidence also slipped again in September thanks to people feeling less thrilled about the current economy. Manufacturing is still limping along. The ISM index crept up a hair, but stayed below 50%, which means contraction for, only the 33rd time in 35 months. Services aren't doing much better. That PMI slid right to 50%, the dead center line between we're growing and we're not. So yeah, it's not all doom, but let's just say the national backdrop isn't exactly throwing confetti for home sellers right now. That stuff matters because housing doesn't live in a bubble. When confidence drops and businesses tighten up, buyers get cautious and lenders get stingier. Translation, fewer people feel brave enough to stretch for those higher prices, which puts quiet but steady pressure on the home values to chill out. And hey, these videos run on caffeine and sheer stubbornness. Hitting the like and subscribe button tells YouTube that I'm not just talking to my cat about housing data, and it keeps me making these videos. Thank you so much. Okay, on to the charts. So here we are with the inventory. Did inventory go up for single family homes? Yes, it did. From 348 homes that were on the market last month to now 427 homes. And that represents an increase of 21.3% more than this time last year. That's a big deal, right? That definitely shows that buyers are getting more options. That's a significant amount, over 20%. And you can also see, though, that sales still went up from last month to the previous month to last month, and that is because it's just a hotter time of the year. Remember, we go through spring's really hot, summer slows down, picks back up for these numbers about this time of the year, and then slows down again as we move into the holidays until next spring. So how does that look overall? Sold homes did increase 25.4% over last month, 13% more than this time last year. But when you look at the entire quarter's number, there was less homes sold. And that is also an indication that the market is slowing down. And here are the days on market, which you would have thought that this would have actually had gone up quite a bit. It did for all of Marin, but not here. We went from 47 days on average with a house before it sells to 43. So that was that extra pickup in sales that occurred for the month, the part that is pretty seasonal. And then up here on the red line, this is the sales price over the original percentage. There was no change for month to month, and big change though, actually up quite a bit when you compare those numbers to this time last year, as well as the quarter is also the same. Now remember, that's a ratio, right? And the ratio is where does somebody list their house to begin with. So the more that's in line with reality of just what houses are actually selling for, this is not going to move a lot. It has to be out of whack for this particular number to move. So it's really based on what sellers are listing for, not like the prices overall of what they're selling for. But that being said, no change from last month. So what happened in prices? Well, the median, which are these blue bars here, that increased month over month, up 8.3%. And when you stretch it out with the whole quarterly number, still up 1.3%. So higher median price. And then the average sold price, which is this red line here, that also went up right along with the extra buying that happened in the, slightly hotter market. And that was an increase of 3% from the prior month. And when you look at the entire quarter, still up 12%. So strong little fall we had here. And then our last little indicator of evidence of what the market is doing is the price per square foot. That went from $887 on average up to $899, which represents an increase of 1.4%. How does that look for the quarter? Well, the quarter it was still up 3.3%. So these numbers came in a bit stronger than this time last year. Next week, we're diving into condos and townhouses in Marin County. So if you want the full picture, make sure to catch that one. And if you're looking for more information about living in Marin County or curious about specific information for buyers and sellers, there should be some helpful video recommendations popping up right now. Thank you for watching and have a great day.